Hi there, this is Dennis Baldwin from the Site Lab, and today I've been asked to go over some of the fun features of Zoom. As many of you have seen in a lot of our college meetings, each time I try to come to the meeting with a little bit different virtual background to bring some spirit of the season to us. One thing I'd like to point out before jumping into this virtual background tutorial is that not all computers are capable of doing the Zoom virtual backgrounds. The Zoom virtual backgrounds are dependent upon the type of computer you're using, the operating system, the version of Zoom you currently have installed, along with the quality of your camera and the overall specifications of your computer. That said, your environmental factors, such as the physical room you're in, may not be conducive to the ability to do a virtual background, and you may need an additional item such as a green screen, so it can give a solid backdrop to apply the processing power of the virtual backgrounds. Now, Zoom's Help Center has a lot of fantastic documentation and video-based tutorials, one of which is the virtual background video. It's a 3.5 minute video, and I do recommend at your leisure when you have a chance to watch this video. At this point, I'm going to go through the steps that I use to find a new virtual background to bring to a meeting. The first thing I do is I go to google.com and I type in something simple like free Zoom backgrounds. Now, one of my favorite websites to use for free Zoom backgrounds, and this is not the only website to use, is going to be pixels.com. The reason why I enjoy pixels.com is because the interface is very simple. There's a search bar at the top. I can type in something like Zoom backgrounds, and then I can specify, do I want photos or do I want videos? In this case, we're going to use videos. And on this screen, we can see that there is a number of them. I'm going to come down to the cloud on the right-hand side. By mousing over, I can see the animation on how it plays out, and I can click into it. And if I choose that I want this as the video, the first thing I want to check is look for any signs of licensing with the video or photo, because you always want to make sure you give credit to where credit's due and you don't use content that shouldn't be used in the manner that it's being used. Below this video, we can see that it's listed as free to use. By clicking on this free to use, we can actually get a description of what that free to use Creative Commons license means. In this case, I can use this for all photos free of commercial and non-commercial purposes. I can give credit to the photographer, however, it is not required. And we can also edit it and adopt if we want. So we can make modifications to this content. Now, it's always important to stay within the licensor of your content that you're using to make sure that you follow all the do's and don'ts of what they've specified for that content. Coming back into the video, up at the top right, there is a free download option. I like going to the right of that and selecting the dropdown because when you're talking about videos in Zoom, one of the important things to know is that Zoom has a maximum background quality acceptance of 1080p. So the maximum resolution video we can use as a background is 1920 by 1080. Anything larger than that, and Zoom will not accept it. Anything lower than that, and Zoom will accept it. In this case, we are going to select the original content, which is 1920 by 1080, and we're going to select free download. When the video downloads to your computer, most of the time it'll end up in your downloads folder, labeled as the video download file name from the site you've pulled it from. Coming into Zoom, this is where we're going to learn how to apply your virtual backgrounds in Zoom. Now, one of the first steps we want to verify with Zoom is that we're on the latest version of Zoom. Some of the older features of Zoom cannot be accessed through older versions. So if we're on the latest, not only does it give us security patches, new features, optimization, it might actually impact your ability to do a virtual background. So being on an older version, your computer may not have been able to do a virtual background, but being on a newer version, you may have that additional capacity. By coming up to the top right of this window where you see my initials, or the profile image that you've uploaded to Zoom, you can click on that icon or image. In this list, come down to check for updates. And when selecting that, one of two things will happen. You will either be on the latest version, in which case you can click close, or the new version will start downloading, in which case we ask that you install it to get all those added benefits that were covered previously. Once you have the latest version, I like testing virtual backgrounds in an offline setting so I can make sure they're safe and they work in my live meeting. So before you join a meeting, you also have the ability to select that icon at the top right, drop it down, and come down to settings. Inside the settings area, we can go to backgrounds and filters on the left. And in here, we can see the current library of virtual backgrounds that I have. Now, to the right of this, we have the ability to select the plus icon and say, do we want to add a new image or add a video? In this case, we are going to add a video. And the video we're going to add is the one that we just recently downloaded from the website, currently located in our downloads folder. When we select that video and click open, we're going to see that the virtual background is now behind me. Now we're not in a meeting, this is completely offline, and this just gives you a generalized preview of what it looks like. Now, again, not all computers will be able to use this. Some of them will require a green screen. However, if you don't have a green screen, sometimes strange things can happen if you have the box checked off, in which case the green screen is now not detected, so it's just kind of morphing to everything that's in your background. Now, with this option, not all drawbacks of not having a green screen and employing this option are bad. Sometimes it does work, other times it does not. So what I recommend is if you have a green screen, utilize the I have a green screen button. Click on the pick a color option. By picking a color, you can actually specify what is your green screen in the background. So if I click this right now, you're going to see that I have no green screen behind me. But what I do have is a predominant color that is solid enough to be a green screen. So if I select that the orange of my shirt is a green screen, you're going to see that my shirt now becomes the green screen. So you can have fun with this in an inappropriate way and make it engaging for your audience, your students, the department meeting you're going to. We always recommend test them offline first. You'll find out that it may work, it may not. That way you're not fiddling around with it inside of a live session and trying to troubleshoot it actively. The next way to interface with the virtual backgrounds is when you are in a meeting. When you are in a meeting, when you mouse down to the bottom of the screen, you're going to have your meeting interface controls here. Where the stop video or start video icon is located at the bottom left, you may select the up arrow to the right of that, select choose virtual background, and then go through the same interface that we had shown previously in this video. As always, if you ever have any questions or concerns going over the usages of Zoom inside of your Bristol online class, or if you want to learn more features about Zoom, you're always welcome to reach out to the Site Lab at site@bristolcc.edu. Thank you for watching and happy Zooming.